CDL Practice Test, Florida, General Knowledge, Part 10. Question number 233. Which of these statements about engine overheating is true? A. If your engine overheats within 20 miles of the end of your trip, you should complete the trip and then check the problem. B. You should never shut off an overheated engine until it cools. C. You should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until the system has cooled. The correct answer is C. You should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until the system has cooled. Explanation. Never remove the radiator cap if the engine is overheated. Steam and boiling water could shoot out under high pressure and injure you. Wait until you can touch the radiator cap with your bare hand without it feeling excessively hot. Some vehicles have coolant overflow tanks or sight glasses that let you check the coolant level without removing the radiator cap. Question number 234. You do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver's license. You are asked to deliver hazardous materials in a placarded vehicle. You should A. Take the placards off the vehicle. B. Refuse to haul the load. C. Haul the load but only to the nearest place where a driver with a hazardous materials endorsement can't take over. The correct answer is B. Refuse to haul the load. Explanation. You must have a hazardous materials endorsement on your CDL to drive a vehicle that is placarded for hazardous materials. However, not all packages of hazardous materials require placarding your vehicle. Federal regulations exempt certain amounts and types of hazardous materials from placarding, but states may impose more stringent requirements. Check with your state's transportation department. 49 CFR 172.500. Question number 235. Which of these is a proper use of vehicle lights and flashes? A. Flashing your brake lights to warn someone behind you of a hazard that will require slowing down. B. Flashing your brake lights to warn someone behind you that you are going to stop on the road. C. Both of the above. The correct answer is C. Both of the above. Explanation. Use your brake lights to warn other drivers that you are preparing to slow down or stop, or there is a hazard ahead for which you'll have to slow down. Question number 236. The reaction distance is the distance traveled from the time A. the eyes see a hazard to the time the brain knows that it is a hazard. B. the brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. C. the eyes see a hazard to the time the foot pushes the brake pedal. The correct answer is B. The brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. Explanation. Total stopping distance is the sum of your perception distance, how far your vehicle goes from when you see the hazard until your brain processes it. Reaction distance, how far the vehicle goes from when your brain orders your foot to take action until your foot actually starts to brake. And braking distance, how far the vehicle continues to travel once you apply the brake. An average driver's perception time is about 1.3/4 seconds. His or her reaction time is between 3/4 second and 1 second. Open bracket. Note, 55 miles per hour is equal to about 81 feet per second. At this speed, a reaction time of 3/4 second is equivalent to a reaction distance of 61 feet. Question number 237. Before transporting a sealed load, you must check that A. The placard numbers match the seal numbers. B. The seal is authentic. C. The load is properly secured. The correct answer is here. C. The load is properly secured. Explanation. You are not responsible for the state of the contents of a sealed container, nor can you inspect those contents. You are only responsible for the safety of the cargo, ensuring that it is balanced, secured, and not overloaded, and does not get in the way of emergency equipment. Question number 238. Which of the following best describes how sleep debt can be paid off? A. It can be overcome with willpower and non-sleep aids. B. It will go away by itself over a period of time. C. It can only be paid off by sleeping. The correct answer is here. C. It can only be paid off by sleeping. Explanation. Sleep debt is a dangerous condition in which missing sleep adds up until you risk falling asleep at the wheel unless you get some rest. People are often surprised that getting less than 6 hours of sleep per night triples the risk of an accident. At least 15% of heavy truck crashes are believed to involve driver fatigue. Before each trip, you should get adequate sleep. Adults need 8 to 9 hours to maintain alertness. Question number 239. Optional safety equipment may include emergency phone numbers, tire chains, and A. A charged fire extinguisher. B. Warning devices. C. Tire changing equipment. The correct answer is here. C. Tire changing equipment. Explanation. Your vehicle must be equipped with a properly charged fire extinguisher and warning devices, flares, fusees, or reflective triangles. Optional emergency equipment can include tire chains in certain climates, tire changing equipment, emergency phone numbers, and an accident reporting packet. Question number 240. What is the minimum tread depth for front tires? A. 1/32 inch. B. 2/32 inch. C. 4/32 inch. The correct answer is here. C. 4/32 inch. Explanation. Front steering tires require a tread depth of at least 4/32 inch. Question number 241. One can recognize hazardous materials by looking at the containers. A. Shape. B. Label. C. Color. The correct answer is here. B. Label. Explanation. Federal regulations require shippers to warn drivers and others about the nature of the hazardous materials they are shipping. The shipper affixes US.compliant hazmat labels to the packages and supplies the driver with the appropriate placards to attach to his or her vehicle. The shipper also notes the hazardous nature of the materials on the shipping papers. 49 CFR 172.400, 49 CFR 172.407. Question number 242. Stab braking should not be used on vehicles with A. Air brakes. B. Spring brakes. C. Anti-lock brakes. The correct answer here. C. Anti-lock brakes. Explanation. In stab braking, you deliberately keep locking and unlocking the wheels. Hence, stab braking should not be used on a vehicle with anti-lock brakes. Use controlled braking instead. Question number 243. What is the most important reason for being alert to hazards? A. Law enforcement personnel can be called. B. Accident reports will be accurate. C. You will have time to plan your escape if the hazard becomes an emergency. The correct answer is here. C. You will have time to plan your escape if the hazard becomes an emergency. Explanation. The National Safety Council defines defensive driving as driving to save lives, time, and money, in spite of the conditions around you and the actions of others. Defensive driving is about anticipating potentially dangerous situations in advance, including driving conditions and mistakes made by others, and planning how to deal with those situations. To be a defensive driver, you must constantly scan for hazards all around your vehicle. When you spot a hazard, think about the emergencies that might develop from it and formulate plans to deal with them. Question number 244. The first step to take if your vehicle catches fire while driving is A. Immediately open the door and jump out. B. Head for the nearest service station. C. Get the vehicle off the road and stop in an open area. The correct answer is here. C. Get the vehicle off the road and stop in an open area. Explanation. The first step is to get the vehicle off the road and stop. In doing so, park in an open area, away from buildings, trees, brush, other vehicles, or anything that might catch fire. Don't pull into a service station. Question number 245. A GPS device, A. should be made in the USA. B. should have a screen larger than 4 inches. C. should be designed for truck navigation. The correct answer is here. C. should be designed for truck navigation. Explanation. You should always use a GPS system that is designed for truck navigation. Such a truck-enabled GPS device contains information about truck-restricted roadways and designated routes and takes into account the size of your truck, length, weight, height, and load types as it routes. A truck-enabled GPS device won't direct you onto roads that are unsuitable for your truck or on which trucks are prohibited. Question number 246. When driving through roadway work zones, you should A. turn on your parking lights. B. reduce speed only if workers are close to the roadway. C. watch for sharp pavement drop-offs. The correct answer is here. C. watch for sharp pavement drop-offs. Explanation. Dramatic pavement drop-offs are common in work zones, but they can also occur elsewhere. If you stray too near the edge of a drop-off, your vehicle may tilt toward that side of the road, and the top of your vehicle may hit a roadside object. If your vehicle crosses the drop-off, steering will be adversely affected. Question number 247. The total weight of the powered unit The trailer and the cargo is called A. Gross combination weight, B. Gross axle weight, C. Gross vehicle weight. The correct answers here. A. Gross combination weight. Explanation. The gross combination weight is the sum of the gross vehicle weight, GVW, of the power unit and the GVW of each towed unit. A vehicle's GVW is its weight when fully loaded. Question number 248. Name some suspension system defects. A. Leaking shock absorbers. B. Broken leaves in a leaf spring and a cracked or broken spring hanger. C. Both of the above. The correct answers here. C. Both of the above. Explanation. Leaking shock absorbers and broken or missing leaves are two of the more common defects that may occur in a suspension system. Question number 250. When should you wear seatbelts? A. Only in states where it is required by law. B. Only when traveling on a highway. C. Anytime you are in a moving vehicle. The correct answers here. C. Anytime you are in a moving vehicle. Explanation. Use your seatbelt. The driver's seat should have a seatbelt. Always use it for safety. Question number 252. There are certain types of vehicle inspection, including A. Post-trip, pre-trip, en route. B. Maintenance, physical, general. C. Both. The answers are correct. The correct answers here. A. Post-trip, pre-trip, en route. Explanation. Before you drive your vehicle, perform a pre-trip inspection to make sure everything is in working order. Every time you stop during your trip, check critical items such as your brakes, tires, and cargo. After your trip, perform another inspection and report anything that may require maintenance. Question number 254. You are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 50 miles per hour. Driving conditions are ideal. Dry pavement, good visibility. What is the least amount of space that you should keep in front of your vehicle to be safe? A. 3 seconds. B. 4 seconds. C. 5 seconds. The correct answers here. C. 5 seconds. Explanation. The formula for following distance is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle, plus an extra second if you are traveling over 40 miles per hour. Therefore, for a 40-foot vehicle traveling at 50 miles per hour, you should leave a following distance of 5 seconds. Question number 255. How often should you check your mirrors? A. Every 1/4 mile. B. When turning or changing lanes. C. Every 8 to 10 seconds. The correct answers here. C. Every 8 to 10 seconds. Explanation. You should check your mirrors every 8 to 10 seconds to know what is going on around your vehicle at all times. Question number 256. If you are driving a long distance, you should A. Take a short break once or twice during the trip when you are feeling tired or drowsy. B. Avoid short breaks but keep the window open. C. Stop often and take short breaks before you feel really drowsy or tired. The correct answer's here. C. Stop often and take short breaks before you feel really drowsy or tired. Explanation. To maintain your alertness during a long drive, especially at night, plan to take frequent rest breaks, about every 2 hours or 100 miles. Question number 257. What is included in a windshield check? A. A check of the wiper blades. B. No need to check the windshield. C. Checking if it is clean. D. Damage check, cleaning, wiper arm check. The correct answer's here. D. Damage check, cleaning, wiper arm check. Explanation. When checking a windshield, you should check that the wiper blades work properly, clean if necessary, and check for any damage. Question number 258. What checks should you perform on the steering gearbox? A. Up to 1 stroke 4 of the steering parts may be broken. B. The steering box should not have mismatched, bent, or cracked lug nuts. C. The steering box should not be missing any nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. The correct answer's here. C. The steering box should not be missing any nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. Explanation. When you turn the steering wheel, the steering gearbox translates the rotation of the steering column into the turning of the wheels on the steering axle. When you inspect the steering, check that the steering box is securely mounted, neither it nor the hoses connected to it are leaking, and no nuts, bolts, or cotter keys are missing. Question number 259. On which fires can you use the ABC fire extinguisher? A. Electrical fires. B. Burning tires or cloth. C. Both of the above. The correct answer's here. C. Both of the above. Explanation. Be sure to use the right fire extinguisher to put out a fire. A class of fire involves ordinary combustibles such as wood, paper, cloth, or rubber. A Class B fire involves flammable liquids such as gasoline, grease, or oil. A Class C fire involves electrical equipment. A Class D fire involves combustible metals such as magnesium or potassium. An A, B, C extinguisher can put out Class A, Class B, and Class C fires. Question number 260. Which of these is a good thing to remember when crossing or entering traffic with a heavy vehicle? A. The best way to cross traffic is to pull the vehicle partway across the road and block one lane, while waiting for the other lane to clear. B. Because heavy vehicles are easy to see, you can count on other drivers to move out of your way or slow down for you. C. Heavy vehicles need larger gaps in traffic than cars. The correct answer's here. C. Heavy vehicles need larger gaps in traffic than cars. Explanation. Large, heavy vehicles accelerate more slowly than passenger cars, and they are also longer. When driving such a vehicle, you need a much bigger gap to enter traffic than you would if you were driving a car.